This program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Companies that have like stars in their logo are related to Masonic symbols.
Yeah, like the Freemasons?
Yeah. So you worship like the bright sun or the bright star. And every logo that you see around, like Carl's Jr., the Sirius FM dog, he has a star.
Oh, it's a star.
Yeah, the NFL logo, there's a bunch of stars. Everything has a star in it. Mazda, it's the owl. The owl is the Illuminati. HBO, if you turn it down, it's an owl.
No, it's not. Let me see.
Whoa!
What the fuck? Yo, I didn't take that in.
And then Taco Bell. Taco Bell is Masonic. Watch. You see the reptile eye?
Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yo, it does look like that.
At the beginning of the video,
he shows a sea.
Do I believe in the black sun that creates our moon and sun?
Male and female in Freemasonry.
This is what would happen.
Of the video, he shows a CD or a disc. He immediately draws the geometric shape of an oblate spheroid. We can see how he separates the oblate spheroid with a disc that has a hole in the center. Then, below, he draws a circle with a swastika inside and immediately paints it completely black. From this black circle, rays come out and 3 rays pass through the hole in the center. Below he writes, still, one of the possible meanings of this black circle may be the black sun. He draws reliefs on the edge of the hole and writes North Pole. And above this hole, inside what would be the celestial vault, he draws a star, the polar star or Polaris. He marks 2 points and connects them in a circle and writes, equator. He draws 2 lines that go down from the polar star to the 2 points. The lines form a triangle. He highlights 2 of the rays coming out of the black sun and also forms a triangle, but vice versa. And he writes, as above so below. It's one of the 7 principles of Hermes Trismegistus. It appears on the Emerald Tablet and then in the Kabbalion. He erases the intersections and draws the sun and moon. and he makes a gesture of rotation. He draws two arrows to show the distance of the moon and the sun. Both are 3,300 miles or 5,310 kilometers away. Then he measures the diameter of the sun and moon, being the same with a diameter of 32 miles or 51 kilometers. He draws continents on the surface and on the other side as well. He points both sides and writes, saying, below he writes Summerland. He draws rays coming out of the black sun and writes, Northern Lights. The center of the drawing is equal to the Mason symbol, which is a square and a compass. He points out the ray coming out of the black sun toward the moon, and then he erases the face of the moon. He makes signs explaining that the sun doesn't light up the moon. Who does it is the black sun.
At the beginning of the video he shows a CD or a
Y'all all right? Okay. This picture you see is the Baphomet. You've seen this several times. This is Alypius Levi, the Baphomet. You think it's Satan. Number one, the Sabbatic goat, the Sabbath, which is Saturday. Saturday comes from the word planetary Saturn. And Saturn is Satan. The little new look at the old god. Satan, Saturn, Saturday. You see? Saturday, which represents Saturn, which represents the black planet. Saturn rules Capricorn, the Sabbatic goat. He has the third eye. Out the top of his head shoots the flame. The Kundalini energy is down here, but when it comes up here, it represents the flame energy, which is also a form of the Christ. Which is a form of the Christ. You got the moon, you got the black moon. It's the same as the yin and the yang symbol. Feminine and masculine. You see, these are ancient. This is an ancient Moorish symbology. The Moors went up into Europe. They set up 16 universities. In the you go to university and you go into a fraternity. Well, they set up the fraternities were your ancient orders: York Rite, Scottish Rite, Knights Templar, which worship the Baphomet. The Knights Templars. This is the Moors' science, Moorish science. You know, the Christians needed a symbol for devil. So they took the ancient Greek god Pan, which is a form of the god Amun-Ra, because this is the same picture, just a same converted picture. This picture and this picture is one and the same. This is the Baphomet. But you can see you have the Masonic symbol, which is also a star, as above, so below. As above, so below. But if you look this way, pointed up, this is also the so-called Star of David, which is two inverted pyramids. If you look this way, this is the head of a penis. But if you look at the pubic hair of a woman, it's the vagina. You see what I'm saying? As above, so below. Y'all all right? The matriarchal realm. So motherfuckers say, I tell them I'm from the dark side. I'm from the satanic realm. Motherfuckers say, what you mean by you from the satanic realm? That's the feminine realm, bitch. Now you know. If you don't know, bitch, now you know. That's the feminine realm. Jeremiah tell you that the original satanic realm is the overthrown feminine realm. And the God that rise up, be male or female, is the son of the mother, or the fallen daughter of the great mother. And that is the motherfucking dark side, the feminine realm. Now you know. Lilith, Lilitude, Layla, Leviathan, Typhon, Tiamat, Medusa. You see, Medea, the scarlet woman, the harlot, Babylon, the matriarchal realm. So the original aspects of what you call the satanic realm is basically the overthrowing of the feminine realm.
This is Madonna then, this is Madonna now.
Let's talk about something serious, as in the stars. Sirius has been our buddy for a really long time. He lives here in Canis Major, close to Orion. Sirius is actually pretty important, and we don't talk about it now, which we should, because the ancients did. And some think, so do the Masons. So let's talk about that. This is a photograph of the Egyptian calendar, and so is this. So the Egyptians knew that every time Sirius would rise and go conjunct with the sun, the Nile would rise. This, of course, led to Sirius being deified, but also seen as instrumental and keeping time. So they began to track every time that Sirius would rise and go conjunct with the sun. If you're not familiar with the term conjunct in astrology, it just means like a union. A union can take place between two stars or two planets. So the Egyptians began keeping track of how many days it took for Sirius to go conjunct with the sun. Turns out, 365 days. The day that this would happen would fall in what we now call July 5th-ish. So July 5th-ish, it kind of depended on the Earth's axial tilt, but around the 5th was the mark of the new year. Ancient Egypt wasn't the only place that used this type of calendar system, which we can call Syrian, Sothic, or sidereal. You can almost use those terms interchangeably, almost. Sticking in the same continent, this is the Dogon tribe. These guys, if you're not familiar, are the ones who had knowledge of Sirius being a binary star system, even though you can't see B with the naked eye, and nobody had traveled to them to tell them this. They were completely indigenous, yet somehow they knew. So their calendar also operates on this sidereal, Sothic, Syrian calendar beginning in July, at the time right after the summer solstice, when Sirius would go conjunct with the sun. Moving a little further north, but far more distant in the past, this is Göbekli Tepe. This site deserves its own video because it throws mainstream archaeology on its side, which I love. But the main point for this video's context is that these two main pillars right here point exactly towards Sirius when it goes conjunct with the sun. There are lots of other cultures we don't have time to go into that use this type of calendar system. For example, this is the Athenian or Attican calendar from ancient Greece. It also operated on the Syrian or Sothic system that started in July, and most likely they adopted this from Egypt. Here's where it's interesting. Because this calendar was so accurate, it had no need for fixing. Yet in 1582, we introduced the Gregorian calendar, which then was forcefully adopted throughout the world. Honorable mentions to Ethiopia, who did not give in. After the adoption of the Gregorian calendar, we then needed to introduce the leap year, because the Roman Catholic Church tried to fix something that wasn't broken. So here's the fringy part where the secret societies enter the chat. If it was known in antiquity that this calendar was correct, and we knew that New Beginning started that first week of July after the summer solstice, when Sirius and the sun would go conjunct and have higher energy, why did we pick July 4th for the declaration? The timing wasn't happenstance, this was decided. And putting this in context, with Masonic geometry in DC and the dollar bill, do you think they really don't know? The knowledge surrounding this star is serious, but we don't get to know. But I trust one day we will. Let's talk about something.
They want to get. Damien is nothing but another fucking word for melanin. Demon is another word for melanin. If you study the ancient solace and not doggone religion. Demon comes from the word Damien. The word Damien in Egypt is amen or amen, hidden substance. In Greek is Damien, which and also in Rome is genie, and in Islam or Arabia is jinn. The jinns is melanin. We'll go into that in a minute, how they had to turn this whole underworld around so you turn against yourself. When you talk against Satan, you're talking against yourself in those particular churches. That's why they got one on every block. But we'll get into that in a few minutes, and we'll challenge anybody who think you know this shit. But because you can't come with no bullshit religion. Religion is false. All of it. So whether you're a Muslim or a Christian or a Jew or what have you, if you're not dealing with its esoteric components, you are in falsehood. Fuck the dumb shit. Right. Damien is nothing but another fucking word.